Okay, let's call the meeting of the Irrigation Committee of the GPPUD District order.
Can you say the date, please?
Sorry,
Can you say the date?
just thinking of what the date was. It's September 16th, 2025.
And the time is approximately 2:03.
Can we have a roll call?
Yes, member Griffiths.
Yeah.
Chairman McKay,
Here.
member Nesco,
Here.
and member Sutton.
Here.
And we have board liaison, President Seaman.
Okay, all rise. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Need to adopt the agenda. Here are a motion.
I move to adopt the agenda.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Now we have the public forum in which any member of the public may address the committee on any matter within its jurisdiction that is not on the agenda. 3? Nope, no hands. Okay, then we're going to move on to the approval of the minutes from the March 18th, 2025 regular committee meeting. Oops, sorry. Turn off the camera. Do I hear a motion to accept minutes, or is there any discussion on the content?
And I'll just make a note that the reason that we have all the way back to March is we found a gap in our minutes and we wanted to make sure we had an approval for the March 18th minutes.
Okay, so do we have a motion to approve the March 18th minutes?
I'll move to adopt the March 18th.
Second,
I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Nope. The March minutes are approved. Moving on to the July 15th minutes. Is there any discussion, any corrections? I have one question, and it's not on the minutes per se, but it was mentioned that we were going to reach out to the Chamber of Commerce and see if they would host the event.
They haven't reached out.
Will they do that?
I have not heard back from them.
Okay. Okay, any other comments or questions? Motion to accept the minutes?
Motion to accept the minutes?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, second,
I'll second it. This is the minutes of July 15th.
July 15th, yes. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the minutes are accepted. We're moving on to item 5, informational reports.
We have none today.
You have none today.
None today.
Okay.
Who's
That's
been
not,
sleeping?
everything that you have to say is on the action items?
Yeah, we have some stuff to discuss with the items from last time, and we have a preliminary report of the survey, so everything was gonna come out in the action items.
Okay, excellent. Any objection to moving on? Anybody have anything to say? Oh, okay. Action item 6A, discussing the issues on the carried acre service line and potential solution.
Yeah, if you give me just a moment, I'm gonna share my screen here. Both Adam and myself were able to go out and visit after the discussion we had last time. And we kind of came up with some potential solutions to the problem. Now, I'm just gonna, kind of caveat this with, nothing has been set in stone at this time. We have some ideas and some plans. We still have to do some coordination with landowners and potentially CEQA issues and, when we can facilitate this work. So, I'm gonna start with, this is a picture of kind of the headworks where you see the gentleman with the yellow shirt. That is the box that goes out to Cherry Acres. What you see is the box is filling and the box is sending water out. You have a box just next door that belongs to another service provider, person who receives service. And then we also have, this is a third unused box in the same area. And then just to the right of this is where committee member Threckle's box exists. So he's just to the right of this spot. So there's a couple of options we have. One of the things you'll notice is that these boxes aren't large. They do not hold a great deal of water. In the Cherry Acres line, there's 9 inches of water. Is it 10 inches? There's nine customers, 10 inches of water. There's just not enough water holding capacity in that box. So a couple options we have is this box you see here that kind of looks broke down. There is a potential for rehabilitating this and utilizing this now. It does belong to somebody, so the district would have to either purchase it or some sort of way to get a hold of this, and then we could have additional water storage at this location. Some
That serves more than one person if it's privately owned.
No, that'd be only one person with that service.
Okay,
Yeah. The only one that has multiple customers is the headworks of the actual pipeline itself.
the one to the left
To
of
the
this.
left, yeah.
this one here.
One
This one over here.
Yeah.
This is an individual, and then like I said, there's one over here.
Can
That's
you go back to what the problem was with
Okay.
that box on the left? Oh, you know,
it's just too small.
I
There's
know,
not-
but the problem is because the box, you know, overfills and then you turn it off and then, you know, they're not drawn enough. What is this
Well-
scenario that causes the problem?
I mean, there's any number of things that
She
looks like an
expert.
And I can feel all the changes.
This is yours, I mean, this is where you are? Yes, oh, okay.
there's a lot of, let me go through all the pictures and it kind of answer the question. So
Okay.
generally what we see with this box is it is not large enough as a buffering, it doesn't have a buffering capacity for the amount of inches that is moved through the system. Now, if part of the problem, and I'll kind of show you the next picture is, I guess I didn't really take a great picture of the actual end of the headworks. I thought I did take a better picture, but
I mean, that's pretty much what it is right there. Kind of looking the other way.
yeah, I wanted to take one look at
Yeah.
that. So basically what you see here is, this is me standing on the box generally, and I'm looking at the reservoir holding capacity for all 4 of those boxes. So you have one that
Is this looking the opposite direction?
is looking away from, I'm standing on the box looking back toward the pipeline.
Thank you.
So basically you have one box that serves 10 inches. How many does Bill have? Is it 1 or 2?
Yeah.
He doesn't have much right now, about 2.
Yeah, 2. So that's 12 inches. And there's another person there who has 1. The other third, I think the third person has 1. So it's 13 inches. And basically you have this area, just to kind of give you a visual. It's generally where John is sitting all the way to like the edges of these tables. So that is the amount of water holding capacity. So it's not more than a couple hundred gallons of water. And what happens is anytime there's an adjustment from our end or an adjustment from homeowners' ends, this area dries out really quickly. And I'll show you another picture to kind of explain why.
The adjustment could be like, branching the canal.
Yep.
Something. So typically, once we have water flowing, we kind of keep it at the same pace. It really impacts upstream over there if anything gets in the canal or someone's stealing water.
So this outlet you see here, this little kind of window it's like about a 6-inch by 9-inch window. This is what feeds that line. And our operators have developed kind of here's where the sweet spot is if everything is operationally correct. Nobody's turned off their water, nobody's turning on their water, there's no debris in the line. So this is, they have marker points for where this is supposed to be perfect. Now, this is where you've heard about people who have turned off water, made swimming pools. This is really easy to turn this off and make a swimming pool right here because it's right next to the road. It's accessible to everybody. Generally, this could be a weak point in the system. Now, what is the solution that we think we have to the problem? This is what kind of Adam and myself have talked about. I'm going to show you. This is, again, I'm just looking a little to the left of where I was standing before. So you can actually see Bill's box right there on this right here is for Bill's service boxes right here. Our thought process is to take this area where you see these trees, and when there's no water here, potentially expanding this area so there's more of a buffering capacity. We don't know how big we can go. We are going to do some preliminary engineering stuff. We're going to do some CEQA evaluations. We don't own this land, so we'd have to do some sort of an easement or some sort of a agreement with the landowner. This is not the person who is adjacent to them that was brought up at the last meeting. This land is owned by, it's about 1,000 acre parcel of land that is right here. So, you know, taking this land or utilizing this land may not be as hard as it is. It may be hard. We don't know. But this is the solution that we think we may have to the problem. And then we also are considering expanding the box for the Cherry Acres line and making a larger box or a larger tank. Now that does create a little bit of a logistical issue, getting different tanks and different boxes out there. So we are trying to, we have a whole bunch of options that we're trying to kind of weigh out and figure out what would be the best to solve this problem. So just because this was a issue at the last meeting, I wanted to make sure that we addressed this at this meeting and brought this back. So we're on it, we're working on this. Once season is over, we'll have a little bit more time to kind of get after this. And one of the issues with this area is it's very rocky. This is basically bedrock in here, so it's going to create a little bit of a laborious type of work in here, just because of how hard this ground is going to be. So that's also going to have to be something that we factor into this process. So was there any?
Pardon my ignorance, because what I have is so totally different. I assume that that's sprayed on concrete or,
It is, we would remove that.
yeah, so.
My-
The plan would be to expand it and then reline it with.
Yes, so something along the lines of where this
Right,
mouse is
okay.
expanded. I don't know how far we could expand it. We would expand it out here, reline it,
Okay,
and
I'm just trying to envision it.
have a larger holding reservoir so that it can buffer kind of the small changes better. The problem is when you have a small change and it, you know, it could be just somebody adjusting their sprinklers, or say one of their sprinklers gets clogged with something, it could overflow this area, or it could, you know, it could drain this area, and then we have to make an adjustment, and it's really hard to recover. And so if we can buffer those kind of small changes, we would have less issues in this.
You're saying the issues are all upstream,
Not necessarily.
but downstream, is that continuous 10 inches pouring?
It's 13 inches
Well, 13.
Going to people's service.
going to people's service lines. Yeah,
But it's continuous, right? It's not like it's a
Supposed to be.
pipe and
it'd be supposed to be. Yeah.
turning it on and off. They're always getting, the 13 inches are always flowing supposedly.
Yeah, it's both, yeah. It, in the perfect world, yes, it would always be flowing, their valves would
Are
always
they?
be open, but.
Right.
What are they?
But what happens if they don't?
They don't, it would overflow up top.
So if they turn it off, then this water rises and it starts to overflow. So then we make an adjustment, and then it settles back into where it should be, and then they open their stuff up again, and then this drains out. And that's the issues that we see. That's why we can't buffer those types of ons and offs.
Is this the area where it overflows, or is it after the boxes?
It overflows up those boxes.
It overflows. You can kind of see it right on the.
It overflows, goes down the hill, goes into a pond. If that pond overflows.
Right here.
Now, the guy has a line in it that would go into another pond. So at some point.
Right about here is where it overflows. This is bypassing all the boxes.
And that runs
So it
down the
comes
hill.
out of that structure onto the ground?
Correct. Not, it doesn't come out of here. It comes out of that, just the holding reservoir, and then it just basically goes out of the holding reservoir. There's a low spot where.
So that box there, saying it's pipes off there and off of there, it's not continuous. Those people could turn their line on and off, and that box will go up and.
They shouldn't, but they could.
Right,
So basically right out here is a pipe that connects to the bottom of this box,
right,
and that serves the 10 inches of Cherry Acres.
right.
So is that the screen?
That's the screen on top.
Yeah. So they're actually running extra water through this right now to keep the buffer, that you'll see some water flowing off right here. And this is to basically stop the buffer, so if anybody's turning stuff on, this is trying to recover the line right now.
Yeah, cause I'll see it down on the corner of Cherry Acres there,
Yeah, I mean,
Cause
you
that's
could
what-
just run a lot of water and then, you know,
right?
so it's an option too.
But we always wanna make sure we're being ecologically sound, because that doesn't always solve the problems, just because you're pushing more water. Doesn't mean you're solving the problems.
Okay, my question,
Yes.
are you guys ready? We do?
Yeah.
Okay, we have, as what was stated before, you have an easement on either side of that canal.
It is an easement, but it is only 12.5 feet, and we are looking to expand past 12.5 feet.
Okay, but we do have an easement of that 12.5 feet.
But it's an easement of access, not an easement of construction. So it's a little bit different.
And there's a legal difference?
You can't just,
There was like a maintenance easement, right, you know, and for, to a construction easement, a little different.
any kind of improvements, I think would not fall within our easement.
And I guess to clarify, when it goes into that box, it goes down a pipe into another section that actually separates out and goes to the multiple users. And that's where it is determined, tell me if I'm wrong, the 1 inch, 2 inch, whatever, down in there, except for the 2 that are off to the side.
Yeah.
Or 3 that are off
That
to
is
the
correct.
side.
And those are typically all at the end of the pipe, those services.
Right,
Yeah.
those, but then the other ones are over
Yeah.
here. So this is the 9 and this is the 3 that are separate from,
Yeah.
9 is on that box right there.
No, 10 is on this box right here.
10 is on that box.
Yeah.
But you have 3 on the other side.
Just out of curiosity, when was this developed? Does anyone have any idea?
70s.
I think it was eighties.
Yeah,
Was it really?
crop, this is the crop pipeline.
We can, we.
Sooner than I thought. I thought, oh, this is something from the 50s.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
It was,
It's
It
a,
was worse then, huh?
That was
it was
still,
when the
yeah.
community was developed
Uh,
and, that was, I think, in the 60s, late 70s. Is when they started doing that and they strategically planned it so that that area would have irrigation and there's 5 ponds down in that area that these lines, that line maintains those ponds. There are 2 ponds located on the corner of Cherry Acres and one is got overflow. It will go directly into that first pond and then if the other guy opens the thing, it will actually overflow into a second pond. And I have seen at times where they've had both ponds full during the summer, during irrigation.
and so we've been trying to reduce that. I mean,
Right,
that's-
no, I
that's-
mean, this year you only have 1 pond with water in it, the second pond does not have water,
Yeah.
which is good.
I guess, operationally, we don't want to waste water because that doesn't serve us any purpose. And it hurts us in the long run when Stumpy has less water in it. So we've been trying to maintain, and that's the issue, the buffering capacity is where we're saying we have an issue is. We don't wanna just blast a bunch of water into this area. This is I could probably walk to the middle of this canal and my shoes would barely get wet. That's how shallow this canal is. It's not like a deep canal like you see anywhere else throughout town. So this is kind of a very sensitive, the small minute changes, and when I say changes, it could be an environmental change, it could be a human change. Those small changes make big differences in how much water is in the system. And I mean, this is just a big old septic tank. That's all this really is. It's a septic tank that they took the lid off.
How many ditches end at a pond versus something like this?
There's only 2 that end like this.
Yeah.
Only 2 that really end like, and the other one doesn't have near as many services, only has a couple, but every other is a pond.
Yeah.
You know, take
I'm
that
surprised
out.
it's designed without a pond, I think it's
I think it's the
rough to be
topography
at the end of
hard
it.
part.
yeah.
If you look right where this gentleman is standing, and I'm sorry, I saw your hand up, I just wanna make sure. Right to the left of where this person is standing, this is a huge cliff drop off. So there wasn't a lot of options, and even if you go back, if I show you the other picture, this picture here, this whole side over here, this is all basically probably a 20-foot drop right here. So when you walk back here, this is all into like a pasture land where it kind of drops off and then flattens out over here. So We even considered, can we put a pond down in there and redirect all the services, but that would, who knows how much that would cost to redirect all the services. So,
I'm just curious, going back to the picture of the boxes, they look like they're the same size.
yes, they are. the
And
same
one is
size.
serving 10 and one is serving 3.
Correct.
Is that part of the problem as well?
I would say that's the basically one of the.
It's not
crux.
just storage, it's how they're,
Well, it's still the storage. You still like.
is that considered storage?
Yeah,
The
that,
boxes?
yeah, the box can get considered storage, so that if that was bigger.
Yeah.
A bigger storage area for the 10 inches, you're gonna have a longer buffer to build.
And that is one of your solutions, is to enlarge
That's
that box.
really a storage, that's one of them, yeah.
Yeah.
I think in conjunction
I'm-
with, go ahead. In conjunction with expanding that like
Mhm.
holding reservoir right there, and we can't make it a lot bigger. But I'll, you asked a question about how many, and like this, we actually went to a pond. And it was a very similar amount of services, about 13 to 15 inches. And I mean, the pond was as big as this room, my office, Jessica's office, and part of this front hall here. And it was deep, and it serves all of those same amount of services. So there's a lot of more buffer capacity, a lot more water available. If we can at least expand some of the water in this area, we could probably alleviate a lot of the problems. And then we can make this box a little bigger. So both in conjunction with each other, maybe put in either a second box or a tank or something in this area that fills up. It's all about, when you turn on your faucet at your house, you want to make sure that there's water behind it, there's pressure behind it. So if there's no water behind it, then nothing's going to turn on. And we just got to make sure there's water behind it when people are turning stuff on, turning stuff off.
So that big reservoir area, you talked about going out further than the 12 feet, can you also go deeper?
That's the plan. That's one of the
So
plans.
it would be both.
Potentially is. We would have to reroute some of the services to make sure that they still had access to the water. But that would be just sinking some of the services a little deeper. So that is part of the thought process, yes.
And it's all piped down. Once you get past all this mess, it's piped.
Yep.
To us. So, the only other thing which would help the users, is, and I mentioned this before, is notification of when you're cleaning it. So when there's a potential for slugs of mud, that we can shift it and not plug up lines. And that's usually what happens is your sprinklers get plugged. And when I was going through our little survey, that was one of the complaints from somebody else. So,
And so that thing you see in the line right there in the middle of the canal, that
that
is
needs to
our,
be up closer.
yeah, we moved it back so that we had more buffer
Yeah.
for it when we have stuff. So that is what is actually stopping the debris from going down into the boxes.
Yeah, that used to be right by all the boxes for at the front of it.
Is that a standard, application on all of the,
All the
garages?
That's
Filter?
no, this is actually pretty unique, this spot.
We're special.
Yeah.
Well, the ponds have a different mechanism,
Yeah.
so a lot of the debris settles out into the bottom of the pond.
Yeah,
And then there's filters that would go, not allowing that debris to go into the lines, so it's a different application, a similar thought process, but different application.
okay, shall we move to?
There is a question, a hand raised from Sheree.
I was looking, sorry, Sheree, go ahead.
I'm not seeing all these pictures online and there's nothing in the meeting packet. It just keeps going. There's like 6 pictures and have you only just shown 2 or 3 of them?
Yes.
Okay,
only shown
well, they're
the-
not in the meeting packet. Okay, so on this picture you're showing right there, why don't you trim those trees on that side if you have, like you said, a 12-foot easement?
The trees
Now a
aren't
lot
causing-
of debris getting into
those trees aren't causing a lot of debris into the system.
the leaves.
Can
Because
you
the
say that
other
again?
side's cleaned. Yeah, the other side is, really cleaned versus the left side.
The other side's our access point. We can't access this from the other side where the tree is.
Okay, well, there's a bridge there, I see.
Not a bridge.
It's a filter.
What is it?
It's a screen that stops debris from coming down. You can't really get to the, if you can't see it in this picture, but if you were to walk down what you would see as the left side of this picture, you couldn't walk there. It's a hill and rocks, and right behind the tree, there's a big boulder
You can
that is sitting right here that you can't really walk through. So this is our access point. That's why this side is much more cleared than this side. I mean, this side doesn't have anything except for a tree that hangs over, and a couple leaves aren't the thing that's doing the clogging on these services.
What I've noticed, especially
Okay,
this
so
year.
on the top,
Sorry.
hello?
Yeah.
Oop,
I was just
on the
saying-
top of the ditch, on the, hello? I just have one more question. On the top of the ditch on the left-hand side, is that what you're talking, is solid rock there?
Correct.
Where it looks like it's concrete?
The concrete is the ditch that has been lined,
That
but if you
is
were to,
concrete.
Yeah, but the rock does
Okay.
look like concrete. Yes, it does. It's the kind of same color.
Okay, that's concrete. Okay, it's concrete. Okay, that's it.
Okay,
Yeah, I was just saying, I noticed this year. When the flow is low, the stream, it's really clear water and nothing blocks my screen. Soon as he increases the flow, every day I have to go down there because my screen's covered in leaves. Right, it's a daily thing. Seems leaves keep coming downstream
but if you look at the
Okay.
service here, the leaves are just gonna flow right over the top. So if there's leaves that get into the service, it can't get through this. This is a micro mesh screen. I mean, what is it?
Quarter inch holes.
Not even. They're smaller than that. There's really small holes. And I mean, the water just, the debris just flows over the top. While we were standing here talking, it was me and two other operators. I mean, we saw leaves just flow right over the top, and it's, you just watch them. There's a little bit of water that flows over, and they just move to the end, and they float over the top. But most of the water goes into the box, and so any of the solid debris goes right over the top. Obviously, if you have sediment, you have dirt, that can get in there, but leaves, sticks, branches really aren't the issue that we're dealing with here.
But then I guess if they're going up and cleaning, I wouldn't see that green algae on that thing either. Because that's actually plugging holes that are accessible to that, dropping down into that box.
That's typically where the water does not flow, is where that is growing, because if the water, it's not gonna grow where water's flowing over the top of it, because it's gonna push that off of there. But you can see where the water's flowing on the top of the screen, and there's a high and a low spot on the screen.
They're definitely cleaning it and making sure water's getting.
And I have a picture.
That's not.
Yeah, I didn't show the picture, but I have a picture of him cleaning it off. This is when we first got there. He has a shovel in his hand because he is cleaning the debris off the top. I can pull the picture up if you like to see it.
Yeah, no, I, like I said, I've been up there and I saw that screen farther back, it's like, oh, that screen used to be within 10 feet of. Or less of that, box,
Oh, the other one.
and then it got moved back. The one that's in the ditch. Cause you guys moved it since I've been up there. And I also noticed that grass was green next to that guy's property.
Yeah, that was downhill of it. Yeah, there was some green grass there.
No, I mean, as the ditch comes in. The house, you walk past the house, you walk out and there's this pasture. And when you were flipping through that whole side, that side looked pretty green.
You're talking about, right? You're talking about right here?
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, it
was
is,
it green all the way down the hill?
well,
Yeah,
it's gonna be green down there. But it's when it overflows, it's gonna flow down that way. There's no other way for the water to go if this overflows. So that's where the water's gonna go.
You gotta think too, just inherently in the canal, right, is you wet soil, it's gonna constantly search for drier soil.
Oh, you gunnighted that one.
Yeah.
But there's tons of cracks in all
It's
those.
just, it's,
Well, I was recently gunnighted.
it was, yeah.
This was?
Yeah, that section right there was, yeah, pretty recently, probably within like 5, 6 years maybe.
Yeah.
But it's still, it still cracks develop and it's still water's there constantly, so it still finds ways to seep.
Right.
Yeah.
Gunite's probably the worst way to line these because it's already a porous-ish material. So when we do redo this, we would probably trowel this out instead of gunniting it, so it's more solid.
To your comment though, John, earlier, does, when we have to adjust flows, like especially beginning of the season, when we run a lot of water to push the water out, we do see more debris in the canal.
It just seems, I don't know why, it just seems like there's more recently than there was in the past.
Well, sometimes do we adjust and say, if we see we anticipate customers not using their water all the time, we try to, so we'll actually increase our flows right before a period of hot weather.
Right.
No, because we know people are gonna start using it. If we run out of water, then we're really, we'd rather try to stay on top of it, before it gets dry.
Yeah, let that happen. Yes. Okay, then we're going to move to action item 6B, the 2025 customer irrigation survey preliminary feedback and public forum location.
So we put together kind of we've received more surveys than I thought we would. And so I think that's been great. I think we're at 43.
8.
That include the 6 we just got.
The spreadsheet's up to date, the PowerPoint's not.
So we received 6 surveys after we put this together. So there's a few pieces of data that we have not included in this, because those came in over the weekend and on Monday. So we were not able to include those and change the PowerPoint. So just keep that in mind, that this is about 32 surveys for total. So, sorry, 34, apologize for the number. 34 responses, how to use your irrigation water, and on the bottom, you can see that they all have different answers. One's livestock, we have some landscape at 26%, defensible states 21%, agricultural 17%, ponds 19%, and then we have other, which is swimming. I guess that's the 1%.
One person uses it for swimming.
And that's their own pond, not our ponds. So they're legal in doing that, but that's I understand.
So it's like to a.
I saw the look in your eye. Okay, so question number 2, if you have a pond on your property, is it possible for fire vehicles, personnel to easily reach it in the event of an emergency? So 47% say yes, 29% say no, and 24% were unsure. So, I mean, that's a pretty good response. And I will say, I read through these, and a lot of people really wanted to be involved in this. There are some who don't want to be involved, but this fire, so I'll say, would you like to be contacted to include your fire? So 38% said yes, 41 said no. Now I would say, just because it says no doesn't necessarily mean it's like, I don't want to be part of the fire system. They may just not have a pond. And so they're saying no, that I don't have a pond that can be accessed. And then there's 21% who say I'd like more information. So I think there's going to be a great opportunity for us at the forum to have the fire departments there, to have, let's go out and meet these people. Let's go out and give them some more information. We can send John's crew, and they can go out there and say, hey, yeah, this is a great opportunity. Let's put this on our fire map, or hey, unfortunately, this just isn't going to work for us. And so, but if we get these folks to that forum and we can talk to them, then we have an opportunity to increase this.
Yeah, and I think we should also, not to say that is, get Wes involved to get the fuels crew working on ponds that just need to be cleaned up.
Okay, that's a great idea. That's a great idea. All right, so question 3 is, please rate your irrigation service overall. It's okay, and it's great. We have a lot of those. Could do better. And I don't see the numbers, but it looks like could do better is about a quarter, maybe a little less. So
It's like percent.
it's like 10-ish%. So I mean, this is really good. Oh, people seem to like their service. Now 3B does why did you choose this rating? So
I preface this with, there are 3 slides. This is it's great comments. The next one is it's okay comments,
yes.
matching those survey answers.
And we did read through these, so grateful of the dishwater, Water is always there and available during prescribed season. All personnel is always helpful. Water is available and relatively clean because it's reliable, and whenever there is a problem, you respond quickly. Water is the most precious resource available. GDPUD has been reliable with the service for decades and provides good customer service every time we need it. Super reliable. If you ever had treated water to replace our irrigation water use of 24 years, it would be very expensive. This year, the water has been consistent and appropriate. Things are great. Things are going well this year. I am completely satisfied with the application and service. No reason to change anything. So those are the great comments. Here's the it's okay comments. A good response from the crew when we have pressure variance. I cannot fully utilize the water I receive. I wish the season was longer. I have someone clean out every year because of debris. I have to unclog screens and sprinkler heads regularly. Also, lots of nails growing from it. I would like the season to run from to April through October. I have to check for the flow every day. The water stopped flowing for a few weeks, and when I called, they said they went out and raised the gate for flow, but they did not do it for 4 more days. A lot of debris at the beginning of the season hampered our sprinklers badly. Would like to have the system able to be extended in fire conditions if fire conditions warrant. Brian is great and responsive, but I have noticed that our water lacks inappropriate pressure. The water can be very dirty, making it hard for certain irrigation devices as they get clogged, even with filters. Better pressure, price increases are too high. Okay, let me go to the, it could be better. So we received 5 responses. So out of 34, what's 5% of 34? 20?
Say percent.
Well, it didn't have the in the beginning. Irrigation and potable water pressure sucks. 15%. Water flow seems low and slow for refilling my pond. It is expensive. It should be year-round. Season is too short, and then failures to adequately maintain the system driving by does not correct the problem. And then not satisfied, we didn't have any responses for not satisfied. So we can stop here for a minute. If anybody wants to ask any questions or talk about any of these, that's fine. Seems pretty. Yes.
I would say like on 3B, where it says I cannot fully utilize the water we receive. I would say that's somebody we need to get a hold of. To have a chat about.
So unfortunately, these are anonymous.
I know,
Yeah.
but that's something that is kind of important to address.
Hopefully, when we do the forum, we can say, if you feel this way, because we'll have all these same questions and all this stuff, same stuff with the forum. This is the way you feel. Come talk to us. We'll be over here. It doesn't have to be. You don't have to show your face. You don't have to. Call out in front of everybody unless you want to. But we'd be happy to talk to you. Let's figure out how we can rectify that situation.
Yeah, because you figure if one person said it, there's multiple people back there that are probably having the same issue.
There's a few comments in here that do concern me. I don't like a few of the things. Obviously we understand that debris can be bad at the beginning of the season, and that's something that we try to limit, but it's not something we have a ton of control over. They have to have it cleaned out a lot. There's some things in that definitely concern me that I think we can address and people may get some more information and some more education on.
I'm curious about the dirty sprinkler system, clogging sprinklers and that sort of thing, because we've experienced that.
Yes.
And it's not debris, it's not leaves, it's not that
It's mud.
It's mud and it's, micro, it's.
Sure.
And I'm just wondering that, that's why I questioned about the screen on the Cherry Acres line. Is there any screening that can be done to try to mitigate some of that for people?
I think we try to get as much of that as we can. When you get the real fines, there's not a lot of screening you can do. Heavy duty filters is going to really
Yeah, we
hinder.
put filters on and they clog like.
No, I understand that. If we were to do it, we would have the same situation. So it would hamper the operation of the system. And so I wish I had a great answer for you to say that we can put this amazing filter on and it would take everything out. I just don't know if it exists. Yeah.
Invent it, you'll be real.
But it's like, the issues I was trying to bring up is the fact that if you're gonna go out and do kind of a deep cleaning, that you're gonna shove a lot of mud down to the customer. if they're on Water Smart, ding, 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 put them on notice that tomorrow we will be doing some major cleaning in your area for your irrigation. Please divert these away from any devices that may plug.
And I think a day, more than a day would be good too.
Well, yeah, something where you get notified ahead of time.
Yeah.
Because that's what got me into the board, was because I had a picture of my irrigation hose that was coming out mud. And it was barely flowing out mud. And I took a picture of it and I posted it on Facebook and I said, wow, this is what I'm paying for, mud. And then poof, it went off the grid from there.
Yeah. And I think we do try, we don't always know when we're gonna cause those types of issues, so I'll apologize, even though it's a long time ago.
Well, I
That
still
does-
get it, but I'm just saying.
And
that's-
then, but part of the issue is when we do our first initial flush, we do tell people not to like open up their services, and we don't want people to open up their stuff and turn everything on until we flush stuff through the system. Unfortunately, people don't always wait. They want the water and it's, you know.
But I thought that we don't have access until you open it for us. How could people do that ahead of you cleaning it?
So as we clean it, maybe don't hook your sprinkler up first. Run
Yeah.
some water through your hoses, let the debris and the mud flow out through your hoses before you hook it up to the small orifices. Because just like at my house, you know, I have a well and I have to sometimes put the nozzle on after I've run some water to make sure that I don't have anything in my hose.
But then what would it be like, say, we will be running down the Kelpie, whatever, and please make sure the water will start coming through, so be sure and have everything open at the time. Or the Pilot Hill Cherry Acres area, make sure that runs. We're now reaching there, because you know roughly when they're hitting each leg. To notify the customers, to let them have a better, you know, to help them get through this, because it's kind of painful. I know in my case, it's kind of painful. You run out there, you open the valve to flush it to the pond, and then you shut it and now blowing sprinklers. And then we get it a big flush again. And all of a sudden I'm pushing, I can look up on the hill and see mud getting pushed out the sprinkler. So that means they have to run down, open the valve up again, and then clean out everything after that. And I'm not the only one that does that. You know, I'm sure there's quite a few customers that have to do all the back and forth routine. So,
I think some scenarios that would definitely be possible. Other times it'd be hard, because sometimes they're just out there and they're cleaning stuff at that time, and you're gonna see it within a couple minutes.
or like what John said, you know, when the
Yeah.
beginning of season, you know, we know when the legs start opening up to notify each section. So they have a better understanding of, you know, here it comes, so don't start
I mean,
sprinkling.
I couldn't imagine not having a pond. I mean, I see what goes out of that pipe and how clogged it gets on a daily basis. If that was just the pipe going straight to my sprinklers, it would never work.
Yeah.
Fact is, it's going into the pond and I'm pumping from the pond,
See, I'm not,
and the only thing I have to worry about is pond plants and debris getting into, you know, and it's rare that it clogs the sprinklers. But they would definitely clog drip irrigation, which now I installed a filter about this big. That goes to the garden. You know, so everything going to the drip is going through that filter, and then I just open it up and clean it. It spins and you clean it out, and that solves the problem with the drip lines getting clogged up.
see, mine is not that way. It comes down and then I'm flushing it to the pond. And then I change the valve and it pushes it to the,
You might want to try this filter. It's, you know, the ones that spin.
I
It's
got 2 inches coming at me.
might work. Might be enough pressure to go through that filter. It's just a screen that catches debris. And there's a valve at the bottom to open to clean it out, and you just, you don't have to take the filter apart, you just spin the top and the dirty water goes out the bottom. When it's clear again.
Mud
Yeah.
is what I'm getting, that'll,
I think it collects over time, right? It's
Right.
constant. So I think definitely, you know, we do big mucking jobs. I think that would definitely be feasible to do, but I think the daily minutia of crews cleaning different spots, like can clean, like taking a shovel and clean house, but that would be really hard to have that notification out in time.
yeah, I'm
These are
I
all
think
over the place.
realistically, the bigger
Yeah.
cleaning projects,
Yeah, I think that.
you have you know, if you could notify the customers.
Yeah.
To let them know that there's a big load of. We're going to do a big cleaning job, so be ready.
Yeah, that'll be every day. We're working every single day somewhere, so.
We'll do the best we can, but we know we're gonna do a major cleaning, but
Yeah, I swear it runs nonstop for 5 months pretty much.
I have to run it for a day, cause I never know what's gonna come at me.
What's that?
I have to run it all day to make sure it
Yeah,
stays clean.
it's just hard, yeah. Even we could be running by second gate, so you send it all the way down to you. It could take you a day to see it though. So the timing's hard, you know, but.
Right.
Yeah.
okay, so question number 4 was, do you have any suggestions for improving the irrigation service? There were 17 responses for yes and 17 responses for no. And these are just general, so this isn't, you can generally tell which one is yes and which one is no. Again, irrigation and potable water pressure sucks. Water flow seems slow and slow for refilling my pond. It's expensive. It should be year round. Season is too short. Failures to adequately maintain system driving by does not correct the problem. It would be nice if the ditch flow didn't fluctuate so much. Do what you say or don't say it. Longer water season, higher flow air rates. Enforce your regulations regarding my neighbor using the PUD pond as his family fun swim recreation
Say
site.
that.
I'm sure you didn't. It says right here on the end, Donna, just submitted this comment.
I can't see the other pump.
Cheaper, continue as you are, check water pressure in addition for fire protection, clear piles left along main line adjacent to and across from our property. Service should be year round, at least April to December to fully serve the growing season. Less dirt in the water would be ideal. Lower the rates, have crews cleaning and clearing debris from easement. So those are, I think there are more. So those are some of the comments for that question. So question 5, is the current irrigation fair and reasonable? And then 5B is how would you improve it? So we got yes, 25 responses, no, 9 responses. Have GDPUD held accountable for damages caused by their failing equipment. Look into ways to increase pressure or decrease the cost for those of us that have nearly zero pressure as our benefits are severely reduced. Why do I have a backflow and neither of my neighbors do? I want more time to pay before shut off. The ordinance assumes that ditch water serves no purpose for the community. That is false. The irrigated lands are a fire protection barrier in any ponds for essential or essential to firefighting. My ponds and open land have been used frequently by CAL FIRE, especially in the recent Sliger fire, which, if not stopped, would have threatened Georgetown.
I think she meant my pawns.
Ponds, yeah.
Is that what it is? I was trying to figure out what that.
Correct
Yeah.
any grammar, this is all forbidden.
Yes, other than section 2B should be reviewed, and have calculations available for GPD and the mechanism for reimbursement. So, I'll address the ordinance assumes that dishwater serves no purpose. I don't think that's what it says. I think it says that it's an interruptible service because it is not for health and human safety. And so that's what I think they may be referencing. So just because it's interruptible doesn't mean we think it's not in purpose. It does not serve a purpose for the community. We think it serves a great purpose, both historically and for fire protection. Those are the questions for that one. We can move on to question 6. Are you aware that you can prepay for your service to make budgeting easier? I would say that this was actually pretty eye-opening to hear some of these responses. So about half the people say yes, and then some people say no, but I'd really like to know more. And so we have, when you keep running through, there is a second section where they talk about they want to know more. So would changing the billing cycle help you budget for irrigation service? If yes, which option would you prefer? So we got 79% no, 21% yes. Obviously it's like 2/3 ish said keep the current billing cycle. A quarter ish wants to make monthly payments, so 5 payments instead of the 3 payments. And you can see the sliver there that says, I'll just use the prepayment option. And then here's the kind of the end. If you applied for irrigation in the past few years, was the initial application process simple and was the form easily to fill out? How would you improve the application process? Yes, 27 responses, no, 7 responses. GDPUD should send a copy out and alert by email so we don't miss the deadline. I'm traveling often, and so that we can make that adjustment. That's an easy one to make an adjustment to send water smart notifications. A pre-irrigation meeting can go over storage location and service flows, etc. And I would say that we have those. They just have them here, and people don't attend them. It says donde not apply. I'm not sure. Did not apply, maybe. I have received irrigation water since the mid-90s. The application of that time was simple. I do not know what the current application process is. Not applicable. The last 2 questions do not need to have a response. 7B, if yes, and 8A, in the last few years, I only answered, so the form would be submitted. So that's the survey. Those are kind of the results. Obviously, we're still waiting for some more surveys to come in. I was actually very impressed with the amount we received as quickly as we did. I mean, they go to my email and they go to our info email, so I get every one of them. And I think one Saturday my email was like ding, 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 and it was kind of refreshing to see that there were so many people who took an interest in it. So 38 is a good response. We had 46 last time. Hopefully we can get a few more before.
We have 43 now.
No. This is 34. We have 4 more that had come in, so 38 total. I was wrong.
Yeah, we totally.
I thought that the 6 extra were on top of the 38, but she had just told me 38 and that was the total. So she was right and I was wrong. Hopefully we get a few more and we can do a pretty quick analysis on this. And I think that this will be great information and hopefully we get enough people who responded to this survey. So tell everybody who's your friends to come to the forum and continue to
Put in a survey.
I'm working on it.
continue to ask questions. I think this is going to be a great informational forum. We are working with the fire department and the chamber to set up the location, and I know that you are excited to come on and help, and we are almost ready for you and John to help kind of the final planning stuff for this event. Once I hear back from the chamber, I will let you all know one way or the other, and then we can kind of move on from there. So.
Can I make a if we're gonna are you planning on putting the survey PowerPoint as something that's gonna go out that we're gonna have on a presentation during the program, or
Yes.
we're gonna use it again? I would change some colors,
Sure.
like in the
You don't like the green?
no, the colors are pretty, but like if you look at number 1, that fine print down at the bottom and you see those little bitty squares that are supposed to
I
be
thought that
Oh, yeah.
too.
relating.
It's like, which one are they talking about there?
So I was like,
Yeah, we could fix
I
that.
mean.
Just for you.
To make it more, to make them stand out so people can actually read it. I mean, it's pretty, but if I'm, say
I
we've
made
got,
this whole PowerPoint presentation in like 20 minutes.
no,
So
no.
it wasn't letting me put 2 graphs with percentages next to each other.
No.
It had to be different.
Yeah, I'm just saying,
So now that I have more time, I'll
just
make
so
it
it,
pretty.
it's like 4 rows back and you're trying to see what color is that livestock? I have no idea.
Yeah, we
And
can,
you start, and then
And
if
maybe put the labels inside the.
It was pushing them all together so you couldn't see all the words. I had to make
it's
the.
cleaner, like if you're standing,
I'm working on it.
this is preliminary.
Yeah.
This is our first blush.
It was already posted by the time I could have time to fix it.
Yeah.
no,
Oh, no, I'm not.
no, I'm just saying.
I'm all about constructive criticism. I'm just letting you know that
Yeah.
I was getting so frustrated because I had to pick graphs where you could see the information. Because the other graphs where it would point to it, agricultural, it was putting them all inside.
Yeah.
So you couldn't even read what the word said.
Are you doing this within PowerPoint?
Yes.
Because if you put it into Excel, you have a little bit more leeway.
Yeah, they're all Excel spreadsheets. There,
We did it in Excel and then you move the data over. into
That's
the
what was my
PowerPoint.
question.
but it has all these designs, you can like pick the different graphs and
But you can also manipulate them within, yeah.
I had 20 minutes, so I was just trying to get
I understand.
information on the.
Jessica's working.
They're
the tail
great.
off
We were
over
both
here.
on vacation. So
What a great job you did.
Yeah.
Way to go, girl. Way to go. What would we do without you?
I promise it'll be more detailed when we present it. This
It's
was-
gonna be in the minutes, so
This
we're
was
gonna
for
talk
you
about
guys.
it
So-
next time.
Is this gonna be a PowerPoint presentation as part of a presentation, or would you be able to put these up like on, you know?
Both.
Oh,
So
that's a
like
good
easier,
idea.
Yeah, we can have them
So
printed.
people can walk around and
We could
see.
probably literally just have it on a screen and have it rotating slides.
That would work.
But we can also talk through it as a part of the presentation,
Yeah.
like here's what, here's some of the comments that were received that we thought that we flagged. And
Yeah.
we wanna make sure we're aware of this, and if this is you, come talk to us, no judgment, we would be happy to help you, we wanna make sure that your service is perfect and stuff like that. Yeah, that's good, I think printing them out, have them on screen, we can do lots of things.
I would just like to bring up one thing, and it's a little premature, but, on number 8, about the pre-irrigation meeting, go over, blah, blah, blah. And I think you mentioned that we can come to the meetings. Perhaps we should make our March or April meetings be that agendized, that kind of thing, that, hey, season's about to open on May 15th. And just go over some,
So we
things
do that every year in February. That's.
The meeting here,
Mhm. We do it as that's when the irrigation committee sets the recommendation to the board.
right, but I mean, as for the general public, more of a, this is how.
I think he's inferring that everybody could come to this meeting.
Yes,
But maybe make it a little more apparent.
advertise it.
Turn it into a party.
If you have
I-
questions.
Feed them and
This
they
is the
will
meeting
come.
where we cover pre-season stuff,
I will do my best.
okay?
No guarantees. We've
We'll
advertised
remind
many
you
times.
in February.
Yes, remind me in January so I can set it up.
Do not really care about the meeting part, but what are they gonna get out of the meeting?
Yes.
So they get this agenda. That's kind of a boring thing to look at. But the whole point is to flag them and say, we will be discussing this, and this. Please try to attend this meeting if you have any questions, and make a point to get that information to them rather than just throwing the agenda out with a
How about
one-liner in there.
we send out a water smart to let everybody know that this is the one you want to attend for year.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that would be
that works.
See?
Such good ideas we come up. Okay, are we done with our discussion here? We'll move on to number 7, irrigation committee member content, comments and reports. Open it up to y'all.
I'm good.
All are good. Okay,
Do we need more information on the if and when, on what's gonna happen with the forum?
I mean, you said it is on here for public forum location.
Just that we're working with the fire department, working with the chamber, we haven't really received much back yet,
Okay,
so that's why
How long are you giving them
well.
to get back to you? I mean.
I'm hoping, well, you can do that, I can't do that. But no, I'm gonna give them a few more days, probably until end of the week or next week.
Well, yeah, I will.
I got you.
I can be firm. All right. So what agenda items do we have for the next committee meeting, which is October 21st, which will be just before the forum? It's a little too late to talk about forum location and all those sorts of things. All those decisions will have already been made. In light of that, what do we want on our next agenda?
anything that can be tightened down for the forum? Any loose ends that are out there that anybody could think of that needs to tighten down? So any other discussion, just have it on as an open item.
That sounds like a plan.
We will have end of season-ish, we'll have end of season report by then, or is that too soon? Too soon.
It's in, because we are
It's only a
on
week.
till
It's
the
like 6
15th.
days.
Okay, so the end of season.
Well, do you wanna say that that's a tentative date, the 21st, if we have anything that comes up that's regarding the forum? And if we don't have anything that comes up, and I'll leave that up to you, Chairman McKay, that if you feel like we need to have the meeting for whatever reason to tighten stuff up, then we can have the meeting. But since it's, hopefully the forum is only 8 days after that, we don't have anything that needs to be tightened up and we don't have to have this meeting and we can just move into November.
Or if you need any help from any other committee members.
Should we talk about moving that meeting up to the second Tuesday instead of the third? I realize that's before, or just as the, survey's ending.
Second Tuesday, I am in Portugal.
Second Tuesday is rough because oh no, I'm sorry, the second Wednesday would be a week before that, so that's, it wouldn't be bad. It only gives you an extra week too, so that doesn't give you a ton of extra time. But it does give you a little, I'm not saying it, it's not advantageous, but it doesn't give a lot of extra time.
What's the date on that?
But if we're working,
November
me,
14th?
you and John are working on the forum, do we want? And I'm not trying to cut everybody else out, but do we want to have a full meeting for everybody else, or do you want to just? Be kind of the,
You guys probably need a bonding meeting with him at some point
Yeah,
after
I mean, I
this
think we
meeting.
should have met already, but
But if you have a meeting scheduled
let's talk after offline and we'll set up a date to sit down.
okay, let's do that.
before John runs away.
When are you leaving? I'm sorry, we'll talk about that later. Don't wanna broadcast that. So are we saying that we may or may not have a meeting on October 21st?
That's my suggestion was if we can keep it, not cancel today. But if it comes down to it and we don't have anything that is going to be on the agenda, have it as a tentative where we could cancel it. And then have the forum, and then we'd have the next meeting in November, which we always have to have the meeting in November. That's one of the hard ones.
How do the other members feel? About an October. I'm glad to hear it. About having an October meeting in general.
I think that's a great idea. I mean, if we need to get together, we're ready for it. If you need help with the forum, I'm happy to help with that, give me a call. But I think that's a great plan. And then skip till November if there's nothing going on.
Okay,
That's fine.
okay. So we're saying that the next meeting is going to not be till November
Well, we schedule it,
Yeah,
18th,
I
but
would
we
say,
cancel it.
I would say, let's relieve the 21st as tentative. And then we and you and we can converse before that meeting and we can cancel it if we have to. I'm not saying cancel today, I'm just saying if we don't come up with any need to hold the meeting, then we cancel it.
Okay. Then we have no other business today.
No, that is for
Does
us.
anybody care to make a motion for adjourning?
So move.
Second,
Second,
everybody in favor?
All right.
aye.
Opposed? Meeting. adjourned. I know how to do this.
I know.
Isn't
that fun?
I did it.
I know, huh?
Couldn't believe it.